And I just wanna tell you how I feel. I'm pretty sure everything's been said. Someone else come around, my brain go dead. Rushing in familiar territory, leaving things unread.
Welcome back. It's your girl, K.E.
It's your girl, Consuela.
I got it right today. I remember. I ain't just jump right into it because I be excited to talk to our guests, man. But I got it right today. Thank y'all for pulling back up on us.
Yeah.
We love when you guys show up. You guys have been doing a great job of supporting. Y'all kind of slacked a little bit in them comments. I ain't gonna call no names. I ain't gonna call no names, but y'all just select a little bit. You know who you are. You definitely know who you are. It's a couple of y'all. So tighten up a little bit or I'm gonna have to call you out. We got a big time guest today. Mr. Tim Campbell is in the building.
What's good?
Appreciate you coming, man.
Oh, for sure. Aaron, I have to pull up on the fam. You know that, right?
Definitely got to pull up on the fam. we gonna get up in there. Pull up in the fam. Before we get too deep into it, let me just name a few of the things that my guy has done, man. He's really big time here in Little Rock. My boy went to Central High School. He also went to UAPB. I got a chance, opportunity to meet him at UAPB. He's a Omega Psi Phi fraternity. My guy is on an inaugural list for UAPB's 50 under 50. That's big time.
Big time.
Congratulations on that.
I appreciate it.
My boy also graduated, if I'm not mistaken, from the Clinton Public Administration School. So that's amazing. Also seeing that you consider yourself a social entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Love that. So we're going to get into some deep details today, man. Tell us a little bit about who Tim is.
So what's good, everybody? It's Tim Campbell, your favorite speaker, and I'm excited to be in the box with a conversationalist such as yourselves. I think that my story starts on Wolf Street, right here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and everybody knows Little Rock is known for the gang banging in Little Rock. And Wolf is essentially the street that everything kind of got started on. Centennial Park, K-Hall. You start naming out these different places like, oh, okay, I know exactly what area you're talking about. So grew up there. My story started, I went to Mitchell Elementary. Shout out to everybody who went to Mitchell Elementary. I know everybody like class reunions. We need an elementary class reunion. You feel
me? They'll be the people you turned up with. They'll be
the real ones.
Went to Mitchell Elementary, Dunbar, Central. So everything I did was right there in the neighborhood. Went to UAPB. Pledged Omega Psi Phi, changed my entire scope and look on life. After UAPB, I took a leap of faith, went all the way to West Africa, and I lived in Africa for 2.5 years.
You know I can't wait to talk about that.
So yeah, a lot of walking, a lot of sweating, a lot of talking. So
Emphasis on a lot of sweating.
And I came back, went to the Clinton School of Public Service, started doing some work with the governor, started doing some work with the mayor, and it just kind of took off from there. So, yeah, that's a little bit.
Yeah, since you said the mayor, you dropped that in there. My boy got his own day.
Oh, yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah, that's big, man. My boy, Frank Scott gave my boy his own day.
Shout out to Frank Scott. He actually came to my documentary screening for my PBS documentary, The Rose That Grew From Concrete. And I want to give him an award because he's one of the people that I admire, I look up to. So big shout out to Frank and everything you're doing for the city of Little Rock. And so I had something in my hand to give him, and he also had something in his hand to give me. And he just said, in small words, I want to dedicate this day, the 4th day of April, to Tim Campbell in the neighborhood and everybody that's behind what he's doing. So that was a major, major moment in my life. Tears was like flowing, and it was crazy. So you think, and God coordinates. So
I like that.
You think and God coordinates.
Hey, that's a weekly hit for the future, man. You think and God coordinates, man. Everything is going to align.
For sure.
For sure. When you lock in with him, everything will align. And I'm so happy for you, man.
For sure.
I'm ready to get into the deep details of it. I'm going to let Consuela lead, but I'm super excited.
Before we get too deep, you did mention UAPB.
Yep.
And we know y'all both went to UAPB.
Yep.
Who are you rooting for?
UAPB.
So just start out telling us about your experience we did a college episode, so we kind of got background on Aaron's experience. But what was your experience like at UFPB?
Okay, so I'll be honest. I did not plan to go to college. I mean, real transparent moment. I worked at Church of Chicken on Martin Luther King, and I was like, I'm good with my money. Everything is cool.
My boy thought he was stacking.
And I'm stacking my bread. I don't need no type of...
you don't need the paper.
I'm good. I stay right here in the city, make my money. I think I had a good friend, Dontrell Jones. Shout out to Dontrell Jones. Juice was good, my boy. He actually was just like, hey, bro, I'm going to UAPB. It's right after we graduated Central. I'm going to UAPB. Somebody taking us down there, and they just going to let us view the rooms and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll ride. You know what I'm saying? And so on that ride, I actually ended up just kind of looking around and just like, okay, this is college. This is a college feel. I had never been on a college campus before. And
How old were you at this time?
I had to be 17. 17,
okay.
just graduated.
First time
stepping on the college campus. And I liked it. And then I had another friend, Bree Allen. Her people were like, "Oh, we going back down?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay. It must be something in the works." I mean, it's 2 rides down to Pine Bluff. Cool. Went down there while I was down there this time. Ran into Cedric Jackson. He's like, "Man, you ought to apply." So I did my application. Boom, got accepted. I took a little test, and they was like, "Okay, here are your class schedule." I'm like, "Dang."
They
like
even
that.
college,
Just
like
like
that.
So shout out to UAPB, because one thing about UAPB, they don't really care about you being first generation college student. You don't got the resources. You ain't never been on a college campus before. You probably didn't have the best grades in high school, but you're determined. Shout out to UAPB, man.
Man, that's a fact.
It's been some talent come out of that school, and they came from the low and cracks and corners and crevices of the state of Arkansas.
Facts.
So, man, big shout out to UAPB. Great experience. When I first got to UAPB, I struggled intensively. I just couldn't get it together. I didn't really have the family support that I needed. My family didn't really know what college was.
Yeah, they don't really know how to support
really know.
us.
So I'm like, I need $20. They're like, ain't they feeding you?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And I just really struggled, man. No resources, really trying to figure out. And Pine Bluff is a whole nother story.
It's another beast.
In itself. Yeah, so
The locals gonna local.
the local going local, and I'm just trying to, more so as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, trying to find myself.
Yeah.
Amen.
Who
Figuring
am
it
I?
out.
Right? I'm trying to figure this out, right? And so after my first year, all my homeboys, all my buddies had just went home. You know how I go.
Facts.
After that first year, everybody
Facts.
kicked it. Everybody kind of went home, and I was just in this moment of just being by myself almost every day. And so then I started, having these communications with God, like, who am I? Like, what am I meant to do, right? And boom, voila, I probably hit my last year, my sophomore year, Omega Psi Phi was having a smoker. And I'm like, man, I'm telling my boy Juice, I'm like, bro, we gotta go, man. Ain't nobody in my family ever did this. Yours either. I think this is something we should do. We walked in there, and a story behind the story, they wasn't originally gonna accept me, right? Because they was like, y'all sure about this one? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had already told them, man, I'm from Wolf Street, I'm from Little Rock. This is kind of how my culture is, how they're like, oh, y'all sure about this one? But they had some great people to vouch for me, and I ended up being chosen. It was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. So shout out to the Bros, root to the Bros, greatest organization on planet Earth. And so, yeah, that's a little bit. It put me in a lot of leadership positions, too. And as black men, right, we need somebody to say, no, I see something better in you.
Right.
And not only do I see it, I'm going to make you be that thing.
Yeah.
That's what Omega Psi Phi did for me. And so after I got initiated, I became the bossalist, which is like the president of the chapter, right? And I'm like, okay, cool, I can do this. And then I took another step on the campus. I became the Pan Hill president, right? So now I'm just not president of my organization. I'm president of all the organizations. I'm running homecoming.
Yeah.
I'm strategically putting events together for the greater campus community. So then I knew, I'm like, okay, God, I didn't see what you had. I was thinking, but you was coordinating.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a little bit about UAPB. Shout out to everybody down at UAPB hustling right now, trying to get that degree.
Facts. Because it's all gonna line up. It may not make sense at first, but God gonna make it line up.
Absolutely.
Period.
So we mentioned earlier that you made the 50 under 50. So obviously you figured it out.
Figured it out.
You figured it
Did
out.
something right.
So tell us about that experience, how that came about.
So UAPB is so interesting to me and so near and dear to my heart. I actually dropped out a semester, and I was just living on campus, like nowhere to go. I was just living in my homeboys' dorm, eating off their card, off their meal plans.
What year was this when you dropped out?
This probably was this was like my 4th semester, so maybe like 2011 spring, somewhere up in there, 2012 fall, somewhere up in there. I just was like, my grades was low. I was on academic probation. I was, smoking weed, partying, kicking it. I'm just being fully transparent. And I'm just there.
Yeah.
But I knew I had one rule, y'all. Guess what that rule was?
What was your rule?
I don't care what you do. You can't go back to
Can't go home.
Can't go back.
Can't go home. That's
You
a
can't
fact.
go home.
I already
Like,
knew you was finna say
I
can't go
don't
to the
care
crib.
what you do, what you don't do. You cannot go home, right? And so I completed my one rule. I didn't go home, right? And the next semester came and I enrolled back in college, back in school, started back again, getting my grades together, kind of focusing. So, but like I said, that was a gut-wrenching time for me. No resources, no money, no job, no car. I'm just here.
I used to get real during that
It just
isolation
get real.
period.
It get real. All your friends then went back home. Like, they like, oh, yeah, bro, we working. Like, we working the job. We got money.
Yeah, you trying to call her, bro? I'm at work. Let me call you back.
I'm at work. Exactly. So that piece for me, and also I'm still dealing with family trauma. That's the time when your family is just like in your face, right?
Yeah.
I was, DHS system, all that was just kind of coming back up. I had just got a call that my little sisters was going back to the DHS system during this time. So it was just a lot going on, a lot of heavy stuff. And so isolation was my key though, right? Being by myself. Because I knew my rule wasn't to go home, right? So I know I ain't gonna break that. But if I get around people that they don't mind going home, right? They don't mind. College is not a big deal for them, right? I probably would have made that decision too. But I didn't stay focused. And so to go from being on academic probation, not being, considered one of the best students, right? Being kicked out of a couple of the dorms and just, having this rough look.
I done got kicked out of dorm too.
Okay, having this rough start. And then UAPB calling me saying, oh, send us your bio and your headshot. We want to put you on an inaugural list to say that you're one of the top performing alumni in the UAPB world right now.
In the inaugural year that they've created this.
In the inaugural year that they created
50 out of all of these people.
Out of all these.
Love that for you, bro.
Yeah, and so 450 people, 400 to 500 people graduate per semester. So they spit out at least thousands of people. So you can do the numbers and say, well, this 50 is going to be, and I was one of the youngest ones. Right, if not the youngest. So it was probably like three of us that was like in our 20s. Mm-hmm. And like I know Alexis Cole, Frank Dorsey, Leon Jones. We were like the youngest ones on there. So to be that on the top 50 list is admirable.
Congratulations once again, man. That's amazing.
I appreciate it.
Yes. So we did our research.
Okay.
We gonna do that.
Okay.
Peace Corps.
Yes.
So was that tied to you living in Africa?
Yes.
Okay, so tell the people, for those that don't know, what that is. Let's start there.
Peace Corps is an international agency that essentially goes over to different countries and they do workforce development, health development, educational development, career development, just like with other countries, like hands-on. It's actually putting American citizens, taking them out of their crock pots of America, putting them into different countries, right? And it's not, we ain't talking about Paris and we ain't talking about London. We're talking about like different countries.
Where they really need the development.
Where they really need the development. And basically you're going to work for 2.5 years. And you're adjusting to that climate, of that culture. You're adjusting to the language. We can get into that a little bit. But yeah, it was definitely a great time. I honestly had no plans on going. I actually was just looking for a cruise. On
My boy said a cruise.
I'm looking for a cruise. I'm like, oh, yo, I didn't graduate college. I'm about to do something, that would like,
myself.
Yeah, I'm about to pamper myself a little bit for sure. And boom, Peace Corps came up, and it was just like, all you need is a college degree. I'm like, oh, I can do that, right? So did the application. I didn't hear nothing back from them for like 90 days. So I'm just like, oh, maybe they didn't get it. Or maybe, I started working. I got me a job and started to start life. And boom, they hit me and was like, hey, you've been accepted into the Peace Corps. And I'm like, oh, dang, that's crazy. And I didn't even know. I didn't tell my dad. I didn't tell anybody that I was about to go to another country. Yeah. 2.5 years. How did you tell your parents?
Just apply for stuff.
I just applied.
You be on break.
I'm going to leave for 2 years.
They said NBA assistant.
Oh, yeah. It was on Indeed, so I just clicked it, right? And so, and actually leaving Little Rock was emotional for me because it was like, this was my first time at 23 years old on an airplane. Never been on a plane before,
Never
right?
been on a plane. Now
Never been on a plane.
Going
but my first
about a
time
12-hour trip.
16-hour trip out the country, dog. So I'm like,
nervous, anxiety attack.
Hey, I remember.
Did I really do this?
Hey, I remember literally taking off, y'all. And I didn't pay attention to the captain saying there may be turbulence. I don't even know what that is, right? And I'm on this plane, like, and it's just shaking. I'm like, why ain't nobody head turning? Like,
why everybody so calm?
Why everybody so calm?
Your heart just beat. You trying to play it cool.
Thumping, right? I'm trying to play it cool, right? So they came back with the snacks tray. I'm like, I think you would have to pay for that. You know, so I let them pass. They was like, you don't want none? I'm like, all right, cool. Nah, I'm good. That sounds like it's like,
hours didn't eat.
Yeah, didn't eat nothing because I'm thinking all the food was for, you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, damn, okay. So I get to Philly, and interesting enough, I get to Philly. I walk in. It's a lot of obvious Peace Corps attendees there. It's a lot of them, a lobby full of them, right? And they're all, hey, how you doing? What's your name? I walk in with my do-rag on, white T-shirt, some flops, some shorts.
Boys wild.
Looking like
Hey, walked in looking, just smelling just like Wolf Street. Like, it was on me. And so I literally walked past everybody. Nobody spoke. Nobody was like, they didn't even think I was right. And I'm coming from UAPB too, right?
Yeah, you just said Philly too.
Oh, yeah. So I'm in Philly. And then first day, we had these little workshops, right? And we're talking. They want everybody to discuss, how they think about the world, what's your insight on the world. And I ended up saying something, a comment onto one of the facilitators' questions. And then like this white guy was like, dang, Tim, you're very articulate. I'm like, oh, this is one of those. Okay. You've not said that to nobody else in the room.
Yeah,
like, was you expecting something differently?
Yeah.
And next day, we pack our things. We on this airplane, headed out. We get to Africa. Oh, my God. The first night, y'all, when I say the bed was a sauna, I literally sweated out everything I had on the first night I slept.
Oh, my gosh.
It was crazy. Like, I woke up like, just drenched in sweat. Never sweated like that before in my life. And the morning after that, they were going to take us to our villages. Cool, air conditioner bus. We're going down. Like,
I couldn't wait to get on that bus.
Couldn't wait to get on that bus. You hear me? So we probably like 2 minutes in, and I'm just my first time really seeing West Africa.
Yeah,
you got people walking, kids. Like, you got people working, selling things. I'm just really out the window like a little kid. Like, whoa, and so we finally get to the junction. Like, we like 3 hours into this ride. I'm like, okay, cool. I could do this, right? So we start going up the road, and I'm like the fourth person they drop off. First thing I notice, my phone goes do. No service. No service. I'm like, oh, so you mean I had service on the corner? You mean to tell me I ain't gonna have no service in this junk? Like, that's crazy to me. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do 2 years no service. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's the first thing that was like, oh, Jesus, I don't know what you got going on. I don't know what no Instagram. No Twitter. Like, it was really like an isolation moment. I get off the bus, right? My family is there. They carry my things to the porch. Kids are like yelling. I don't even know what they're saying. They're just like yelling. And I'm like, okay, cool. And when I say I've never felt the sun, hit my head.
I know it was wild. That's why I'm laughing. I know it was wild.
I never have felt the sun hit my head the way it hit my head that day. I'm like, oh, no phone? 100 degrees, and it's 6 o'clock p.m. Like, this
it's still beaming.
It's beaming. I'm like, I don't even know what I signed up for. So immediately got to work, had great counterparts, met great people. I was in the health sector, so I was
going to ask you, what was your job?
Yeah, every day I was working with malnourished women that were specifically pregnant and malnourished women and malnourished kids. So every day doing weighs, I had my little tester, doing my test, and even sometimes even going into their homes, just making sure they were eating right and trying to get them, more nutrition, more protein into their diet. So essentially while they were pregnant. So that was a interesting time.
I can imagine.
And while over there, I became so integrated, y'all, that I thought I was them, right? I lived in the Kente Kunda, right? So with the Kente family, which was also historical for me, because I'm like, okay, if I don't know nothing else about West Africa, I know Kente, right?
Yeah.
So being able to, live with them and just break bread with them, right? I remember the first night I was eating my meal. I'm just sitting there and I'm ready to eat, and it was rice, and it was fish on top, and it was 7 of us.
Was it the fish with the head on it?
Absolutely. And it was a bowl. Right?
Everybody ate out that
and
one plate?
everybody ate out the one plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was it. And my baths were like bucket baths. Like you got your
The whole 2
water.
2 years?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
He
Bucket
can't do
baths.
it. This is a big donkey.
Yeah.
He can't do it. He can't do it, baby. Oh, man.
Hey.
I was with you until you said the bucket
baths,
for 2 years,
bucket
baby.
baths. We ran out. If I ran out of toothpaste, I'm making homemade charcoal toothpaste. So I'm using coconut oil.
Was you musty out there?
I just
gotta ask.
I mean, that's a real question.
I just gotta ask because it's hot.
But I will say this: the food was not contaminated enough for me to be musty.
Yeah,
because
because you know the food that you eat
The
is crazy
food that I
too.
eat was right
So
out
it was
the ground.
clean.
Everything
Yeah.
was clean. If I ate chicken, I seen
they
it run
musty?
around. No bad smells.
Because it's the food, man.
And
I'm
all
trying
they
to tell
drink
you,
is
the
water.
difference put in
It's
your
no-
body.
I ate chicken. I seen it running around.
I seen it running around this morning, so I know that it ain't got nothing
We
in
done
it.
chased him.
I done chased it, right? It was on my porch, and now it's for
we
dinner.
done chased him.
It's crazy. Nobody really had bad smells because they
Yeah.
only drunk water. That's the only thing there is to drink.
Right.
There's nothing to refrigerate.
Ain't got no Kool-Aid.
Ain't no Kool-Aid. It
Yeah.
ain't no really. They had this little tea that they
Boy
would drink
got
called
fit.
Italia. But yeah, I was fit.
Cut up, baby.
Cut up, right?
I might need to go
I
for
be
2
looking at my
years.
old pictures like, dang, I need to get back to that
Yeah.
West African diet, right?
Yeah.
But great time. Like I said, I had 2 kids to be named after me while I was over there.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
My little hearts, man. So shout out to, I know hopefully y'all hear this in a couple of
might.
years.
They
might.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out to y'all. I hope life is going well for you. So
Yeah.
and language too. Like I didn't understand language. It took me like a year.
What do they speak?
Mandinka and
Mandinka.
Wolof.
Got you.
It took me like a year to speak the language, right?
can imagine.
At first I could say little things like, let me get a cab, I'm hungry, I'm not hungry. About a year, I was, man, where we going? What we doing? I could talk to pretty much anybody, and my work increased because I could work with more people because I spoke the language.
Yeah.
So a
You're
lot of
engulfed.
you're fully engulfed by the end.
Yeah.
Like you're speaking the way they speak. And I had my English became an accent because I'm speaking English in the way that they speak English so
Yeah.
that they could understand. So it was cool.
That's amazing. That's an amazing experience to go through.
Oh, for sure.
What's your biggest takeaway from that? Like, if you was to say this is the biggest lesson I learned and I'm carrying with me every day moving forward, is something that I'm going to teach my son. What would be the biggest lessons you can pull from that?
They have a proverb which is my favorite, and it's basically Ming Bakus Willa Bakas, and basically what that means is whatever is happening here, be grateful for it, because whatever is over the bridge, it may look like it's better, but it's probably not. So be acceptable and be grateful for whatever you have, because whatever is going on here is just another form of it going on there, right? And it's just this bigger idea of, count your blessings, because you're here, like where you are right now. You pray for this, right? You cried for this. Whatever it is, you cried and you wanted to be here.
So bad.
Right? So bad.
Yeah.
But, we oftentimes create another there when we get here. And that there becomes a here. And it's just interchangingly. So just always being present, right? Because when you get that thing, when you get that goal, when you reach that one peak, right, you're just going to create another one, right? So just make sure you be present in everything that you're blessed with.
So that's another form of what we say here in America is the grass is not always green on the other
Grass
side.
is not always green on the other side. Exactly.
That's a great saying.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah, it was dope. So, I would say another takeaway that I gained from Africa was the importance of community. In West Africa, if you don't have a community, you don't have nothing. If you're not integrated, you can have $1 million, but if the people over there don't feel like they know you and you're a genuinely good person, you speak to kids, you're nice to people you meet, whatever you got, the possessions means nothing. Because they looking like, we ain't got that anyways, right?
Yeah.
So that can't be our measurement stick for how good of a person you are, right?
Yeah.
How well, my biggest thing, they will always say, well, Tim knew every name in the village. He knew babies' names. If you just had a baby, he was just going to pull up, right? He knew your baby's names, your auntie's names, your cousin's names. I knew everybody by name in my village. It was probably over like 1,300 people. Nobody could walk up to me. I didn't know who they were.
Yeah. Would you say that experience led you into wanting to be a social entrepreneur, to coming back and being a part of the Clinton School of Public Service?
Absolutely, because I think after graduating, I wanted to make money because I thought that making money is what ruled the world, right? But after coming back from Africa, I had a different perspective, and I'm like, no, it's really change that changes the world, right? Money probably runs the world, but change is the very thing that keeps money a thing, right? It keeps money in process, en route. If there's nobody on the ground creating change, caring for the kids, giving out the backpacks, feeding the family, if there's nobody doing those things, then what really matters?
Everything else is irrelevant.
Everything else is irrelevant. So definitely inspired me to go into social entrepreneurship, because when I got back, I was probably back like 9 months before George Floyd situation. And then, you know, we started to doing the protest.
I remember you heading on that protest for sure.
Yeah, we were doing the protest stuff, and it wasn't about me, right? It was about preparing a platform for other people to just voice themselves in a time of anger.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I want to do, right? And started working with Asa Hutchinson, the governor, and we started doing some task force stuff, and it was tedious work. I won't lie, it was tedious work because it was outside of my element. I'm like, okay, I'm just an on the ground change agent, but this put me in more of a political seat, right? I'm in here working with different mayors. I'm working with police chiefs, lieutenants, and we really getting to the bottom of what needs to happen in terms of Arkansas policing. So,
would you say that those task force were like successful?
So I would say they were successful in a sense that I will give a shout out to Asa Hutchinson. He was one of the only governors to actually sit down with like local protesters to say, hey, what do y'all want? What needs to happen? And actually executed on it. That was the success in it for me, because you know how many protesters that were outside all night, and they mayors, they governors did not
care, did
not
move,
budge, right?
Slept well.
He called me in and was like, hey, Tim, simply, what you want, right? And 3 weeks later, he announced a task force, and it wasn't like he seen me as a protester as much as he seen me as a person. That's how I felt. I felt like, dang, this official actually sees me as somebody that's, you know, has a voice, that's actually for the people. And so going into that, myself, Dricka Rice, Darren Kidd, June Young, Oya the Poet, we basically just band together and was like, something got to happen differently, right? I see people throwing tear gas, people doing this, doing that. We're not doing that, right? We're going to run this thing like it's an event. And we're going to make sure at the end of the day, our goal is met, which people go home feeling like they were simply heard. So
simple as that.
Man,
that's the biggest thing as far as like management. When you at the top, you serve these people.
You serve. You're a servant.
You are a servant leader.
That's
you
it.
can get there and think it's all about you, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in that position, the people put you in that position, and you got to listen to them.
That's
all people want to do is feel heard.
That's it.
Simple as that.
That's it.
Man, this is very small scale.
Go ahead.
But just to give you an example, man, I'm the commissioner of the She Got Game League here in Little Rock.
Big shout out. Big shout out.
Small fish still trying to get it. But I was talking to one of the coaches who coaches the team there. She's been in the league for a while, and she was, you know, just bringing up something in specific where she was like, I brought an issue to you, and when we were done, I felt like you. She was talking to her assistant coach, like, man, I feel like I matter. And I ain't even do nothing but like, I listened to what she said and said, hey, let me know. Send me another message about that, and then we'll try to see what we can do to fix that.
Yeah.
But that's
it
all
wasn't something large.
Just to listen.
Yeah.
Just to listen.
Just to listen, and she was so grateful just that I heard her and I attempted to meet her needs.
That's it.
Simple as that. That's all people want to hear as a individual here on the community level, especially. So when we get these people in these roles, it's important to get people in those positions who are going to listen to you, the people who care about you and where you are.
Because you may not be able to do anything about that specific need that a person has, but you heard.
But you heard them.
That's it.
They understand that it's an issue for you, and they can figure out how to make it happen in the future, even if they can't make it happen right now.
Exactly.
And that's the biggest thing where people say they're not gonna vote, this and that. Then we're gonna continue to lose.
We're gonna continue to lose.
We're gonna continue to lose.
Yeah, we're gonna
Oh,
continue
you
to
can't
lose.
make me vote for that.
Voting is not real.
You can't make me vote for that. My vote don't matter. Be for real, bro.
Yep.
And it's again on the community level, like you said, it's our jobs to continue to educate one another about these different things, because when we don't understand and we let people say those ignorant things like that, it infuriates us. But what am I doing to help educate you? What am I doing to put you in a position to understand? So once all of us understand, we're stronger together.
Yep.
You know, so
I like that.
I'm really glad that former governor was in a position to really listen to you guys, put that task force together. I remember that. I really love that. That's amazing for Arkansas. We need more of that.
For sure. For sure. And, I think it was fast forward to October, I got a call from, and shout out to Antoine Phillips, great mentor. He called me and was like, hey, bro, check your phone. And I checked my phone. It's like 5 a.m, mind you. Got to be a mentor calling me at 5 Like, check your phone.
Sleep still in your voice.
I check my phone, and it's like Arkansas 250 most influential leaders. And here I am, 26 years old, and my name is there. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy to wake up and see. I just never thought that leaving Pine Bluff, being the little boy that was just at Pine Bluff, lost, right?
Kicked out the door.
Right, would be considered one of the top leaders in the state. And so that was definitely a great time.
And it comes by putting other people before you, because it ain't really about Tim.
It ain't about Tim.
It ain't about KE. It ain't about Consuela.
Nope.
It's what are we doing with the platform?
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
we got to link up some more times.
Oh, yeah, we got to.
I'm excited to have a conversation.
Oh, yeah, we got to.
So speaking of conversation, you were you did a TED Talk.
Yes, I did a TED Talk.
So
y'all reminded me of stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah. She went to UAM.
Okay.
More evil than a damn more evil. But yeah, so what was that like for you? How did they just it seems like people just find you and you're just very influential and they reach out.
Before you say that, look him up. Tim Campbell Speaks.
Absolutely.
If you need a speaker, reach out to Tim Campbell. He does an amazing job.
Hey, Tim Campbell Speaks, timcampbellspeaks.com. I'll come speak at your baby shower. If you're ready, right?
If you're missing a baby daddy,
if you just need some morning motivation, I'll call you. All that. Anything. Church, baptism, I'm there.
Baptism for sure.
timcampbellspeaks.com. Check me out. TED Talk. I've always kind of personally wanted to do a TED Talk. That was like something that I was like, damn, that'd just be cool to do. I don't even got a reason.
It was just like a bucket list.
It was like a bucket list thing. And so I actually didn't like the process of it. I hated the process of becoming a TED Talk speaker because I kind of felt like it was snipping off parts of who I was in order to give a message. And so one of the rules was no personal stories, right? You can't lead with your personal story. And I'm like, hold on now, I'm all story, right?
Yeah, right. That's who I am.
Yeah, that's who I am, right? I don't even know how to go outside of my story.
Got all the anecdotes.
Yeah, and that's where my wisdom is. That's where my power is in my story and telling my story. And they're like, yep, cool, but we're all about ideas here. I'm like, wow, that's different. So going into it, it was cool. It was a great experience. But looking back, it's hard for me to look at it because it's on YouTube, and I'm just like, I don't like looking at it because I kind of feel like my idea was great, right? Which my idea was basically respecting the voices of youth as it relates to creating change, right? How can we create change for tomorrow if we're only listening to elderly, right?
Which before you get deeper, we're going to have a conversation how you probably want to have a conversation when you pull up on the NAACP panel.
For sure.
The conference.
For sure.
Because we're talking about that migrating into that leadership phase. We're only listening to people who are in these positions, but you're leading these people and they're completely different from here.
Yeah,
so we're going to get into how you want. We're going to fix that. We're going to get into that.
And so, but I was a great experience being on the red circle, the red dot. I felt it was a proud moment. My fiance was there. I was so different in my delivery that when I got off stage, she was like, are you okay? But I was like, yeah, I'm good. But it's just that, I had to learn that moment. If I'm going to impact the world, I don't always get to pick the words that I'm going to use to do it or the angle that I'm going to use to do it, right? I can't always be Kendrick Lamar picking angles and double entendres. And sometimes I just got to go out and give it the way it's asked for, right? And so that's what TED Talk taught me. I want to do another one. Planning for 2025, so be on the lookout for that. Okay. Want to go up to Washington to do it, and hopefully that falls into place. So
cool.
Yeah. That'll be dope.
While we're on speaking, the conversation circle.
Oh yeah.
So y'all just recently had a men, money, and mental health.
Oh yeah, it was dope.
But I seen where you said women were invited too. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So was that something you created or?
Yeah, so that is me and Dricka Rice. That's our baby, and it's something that kind of was like, okay, when we get done protesting and we get done doing the community work, how can we continue to create the conversation, right? How can we continue this? And it's just like a public forum where people can just pull up You ain't got to come up and with a mic in your hand, you can just pull up and say, hey, I'm going to just grab a drink and I'm going to listen. And it's so much healing in that. And so I had been watching, different platforms on YouTube. I'm like, we don't got that here in Little Rock. And I'm always about creating something new. And so the conversation circle, the first one we had, packed out the house. We did some clickbait. We did, I think it was money and finance and romance. And everybody was talking about that 50-50 and who gonna pay what. And so it definitely was started off good. But I'm like, let's make sure our topics are also like daggering. Let's also make sure they're relevant to like, let's say it's mental health month. Let's make sure we're doing something around what's already in motion. So yes, it was me and money and mental health, right? Because I wanted to have a conversation around men and money, right? Because I don't really get to, y'all, just because I'm a man, they really don't talk to me about money. So, like, I really don't get those conversations. My dad didn't talk to me about money, right? My grandpa didn't talk to me about money.
That's normal in our community.
Dang, I've never had a conversation with another man about money. And it's like something that it's
like a no-no for us.
It's like a big cultural no-no. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, forget that. We finna have it.
Yeah.
And so when I say that, when I made the post, I did the casting call, men were blowing it down, like inbox, commenting, right? And I'm like, oh, they are interested to talk about this. Okay, cool. So, and there's another cultural no-no, which is mental health, right? So I'm like, dang, this is going to be good. We got some amazing voices out, amazing men talking about different perspectives, professions, different walks of life, different age groups to really just come together and talk about money and mental health. And I think my favorite part about that was when I asked all the men, I'm like, when you're having financial issues and it affects your mental health, do you, one, tell your partner about it? And if you don't tell your partner about it, who do you tell?
They tell their homeboy, their best friend, and they not telling they girl.
80% of the panel do not speak of any of this to their partner.
And I about know why. I don't want to get into it, but I about know why.
They don't bring
it up. What's your broke ass? They ready to throw that just to the fire.
Right.
We gotta fix that. Fix that.
Because I think, and
don't point at me like I be saying it.
I'm fine. I apologize. We gotta fix that.
So a lot of the men were just saying like, they've been burnt behind that. I know I'm not gonna say a name, but one of the guys was saying, he went to his partner and he was just like breaking down, and he told her that, hey, I was raised by a family member. I wasn't raised by my parents. And so fast forward, right? Argument is brought up. Yeah. You don't even know what how you know what it is to be a man, right? You was raised by such and such.
Got that bad.
Using people's pain to throw it back at them.
Yeah. So that was tough to even listen to.
Right. We just ain't been raised right sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes y'all ain't shit.
So,
that's just what it is.
Everybody got their nice shit moment.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yes,
so it was definitely a dope conversation. I invite everybody back out. Conversation Circle, you can find us on Facebook. Conversation Circle, simply put.
Is it like monthly or?
So it is quarterly. So we do 4 to 5 a year. The next one is going to be very interesting. I think both of you want to be there. It's going to be women, wages, and wealth, right? So we're going to be talking about the feminine aspect of mental health, money, dating, what that looks like, right? So that'll be in August, right? So we're planning for that one's next, so be on the lookout.
We'll definitely be there. That next controversial question that you just asked about 80% of those men, pulling back from that, you need to bring that back up.
Yeah.
So we could put that back in the ball court of us women to own that.
I like that.
Because men don't feel safe to talk to you.
I like that.
Definitely got to own that. But I love what y'all doing because bringing that's unity and healing. When we don't have the conversations, we constantly dust stuff under the rug. And then, like, the people who are going through it, we talk about it amongst ourselves, but in order for us to get past it, it has to be a togetherness.
It got to be a togetherness about it. And I like what you just said. Like, because, it's kind of hard to have. Now, say if I would have had men and women on the panel.
It's arguing.
It would have been crazy. It would have been crazy. I know your cousin. He wasn't. We ain't doing that.
No.
So, just splitting the two, and just saying, hey, let's have a conversation over here. Y'all can come and listen. And let's have a conversation over here.
Right.
Me and y'all come out and listen. So, and I think that sometimes we think we need 1 million followers. We need this big platform to create change. And you don't. Like, Conversation Circle is just something that we do because we love, and literally people come up to me and just like, hey, I was thinking about ending my relationship. I was thinking about getting divorced, but after tonight, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go back into that, and I'm gonna have a different perspective. So
that's dope.
Small ripples is what the Conversation Circle.
Yeah, that create big waves
for sure.
Yeah.
Love that. That's dope, man.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that's a cool thing.
So come join the conversation.
We gonna have to be there.
Oh, we gonna be there for sure. We gonna be there for sure. That's all I needed to know about it.
You are like, I don't even know. It's just so much.
It is.
Like, you have your own day. You've done the TED Talks. You gave us your background. Like, so you did your documentary.
Yeah.
A Rose from
the Rose that grew from concrete.
Okay.
Yeah.
The documentary, was that like about your life?
Yeah, my life. Yep.
So is that you're also the creator of the Rose Gala? So I'm guessing the two are.
Yep, they all
Okay.
intermixed. Yep,
Okay.
yep. So yeah, the PBS documentary. I actually got a phone call from Monty Moran, who is the former Chipotle CEO. Call me, right? It was like, hey, is this Tim? I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah. What's up? What you do?
This is definitely Tim. He was like, hey, I'm in Little Rock. I heard a lot about your story from your uncle LaFell, and we think you'd be great to sit down and talk to. Can you meet me at Nexus Coffee in the next 15 minutes?
Yeah, I'll be there.
I think I ran a red light that day. Definitely ran a red light that day, but I was there nonetheless. Great conversation. They came out. They had 3 locations: Central High School, Wolf Street, and the field at Central High School as well, because I was a football player as well. So they wanted to talk about some stuff, man. And like, we got out there 5 o'clock in the morning, y'all. Like, imagine 5 o'clock in the morning, you sitting in front of Central, the dew is still on the grass, and somebody like, so yeah, tell me about your life story and what happened with your mom. And I'm like, I lied.
Yeah.
The first thing I did was lie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I lied. I got out there and I started telling lies. I'm like, oh, it was cool. It wasn't no bad upbringing. Everything was cool. And it was actually my fiance that pulled me out of that and was like, can we cut this? Yeah, you're out there lying. And you always say that you want to create change, your voice, and all this blah, 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 blah.
Get your ass on here and tell the truth.
Get your ass out there and tell the truth. She gotta gave me one of them.
You got the right one.
Yeah, she kind of gave me one of them mother moments. And
I
it was
like
like,
her.
get your ass back out there. I got out there. I ain't holding nothing back. I started telling everything. Family secrets, everything.
That's
because,
important, though, that she did that. That's who you are.
Yeah.
How's somebody else gonna grow if you don't share the truth about you, though? That's where I be at with it.
That's it. That's it. And it's just like, when I got back out there, he asked me about my mom. Like, yeah, my mom, I wasn't raised with my mom. I was raised with my grandma, my dad. I kind of got into my biological dad situation, which my dad also, we never had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
So I really released some trauma, some healing. I released a lot on that documentary. And I didn't know what they were going to cut, what they was going to keep. I just knew I went out there and talked my ass off.
Yeah.
Right? So when I actually seen it for the first time at Mosaic Temple, shout out to Key, shout out to the whole team over there. That's where I had my first just big day, and we were watching this. And this is my first time watching it as well with my mom, my dad, and I'm telling they secrets, right? So
How did that make them feel?
Me and my dad never really talked about it, but my mom, I think it made her a little emotional because who wants to relive something, right? Yeah. Especially on a TV screen, right? You done grew. She's an amazing mother now, but maybe some things in the past didn't go right? She was wrapped up into the gangbanging, drugs, whatever she had to do. She dropped out of school in the 8th grade. But I always tell my mom, don't be ashamed of your story, because if it weren't for your story, I wouldn't have my story.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for my story, my son is not going to have his story. So somebody has to do the ownership piece. Right? So somebody else can come around and grab their baton, own theirs, right? And just pass along ownership. And I think that we dismiss a lot of who we are because of the shame, the guilt. Oh, I don't want nobody to know that, right? No, everybody needs to know that, because it's more people dealing with the fucked up shit that you went through than the high lifestyle you've had. You know what I'm saying? Or the high maintenance stuff you've done. It's more people that's on the ground. It's like, dang, I've been, my mama wasn't there, my daddy wasn't there.
Yeah.
Or I was touched when I was a kid. Yeah. It's more people dealing with that today, 2024, today, than you may imagine. So pulling back your story does nothing for nobody. And so when we had that conversation, it was extremely powerful. So yeah, The Rose That Grew From Concrete, PBS, go check it out. and let me know what you think. It's actually a review box on that link. So let me know what you think.
Yeah, man. That's amazing. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't got a chance to check it out, but you really just turned me up. I got me something to do.
Right.
You
Sure.
got to.
I gotta check it out. Talk a little bit about the Rose Gala, man. I had the opportunity to be nominated as one of the people for it. I was really excited to be a part of that. Man, that was a great experience. But talk about your idea on why you wanted to do that.
So I always wanted to create something that basically not only just highlighted me, but everybody else around, right? Because concrete is not one brick. It's a slab, right? And if I'm talking about the rows that grew from concrete.
This man be dropping some.
If I'm talking about the rows that grew from concrete, right? That means that the rows may be the only thing you see, but it's a whole vine. It's roots. It's all, and it's growing. It's waiting to be next, right? And we don't like one rose. We like how many roses to be in the pack?
A dozen?
We like a dozen.
12 of them
I like a
bad
dozen.
boys.
So I chose 12 awards, right? And I didn't want it to just be the same old names that we hear. And shout out to the same old names that we hear because y'all are doing a great job, right? But what about the people that, you know, she's been working her whole life to be a great mother. That's it, right? Mm-hmm. She's great at what she does, right? I created a mother award. I created a father award, right? For somebody that's just like, okay, he ain't make six figures. He ain't just the most in shape, but he a hell of a daddy. You know what I'm saying? And so it was amazing to me that I was able to name these awards after my own parents, right? And kind of signify their name and the legacy that they had on me. So that was definitely just a platform I wanted to create in order just to, you know, give people the credit that usually don't get it, right? Mm-hmm. And I wanted the people to pick, so it was nomination based, right? Mm-hmm. So you was able to nominate, and we have a lot of awards today where people picking who gonna get the awards before the awards even is a thing, right? And it's just like, I don't think that's fair. So I wanted to be nominated, voted, fair game, fair deal. If I looked at that sheet and it says that this person won, that's who won. So it was a great time, and I want to give a personal shout out to Al Williams. And I know y'all don't know who Al Williams is, but I'm gonna tell who he is, and it's a crazy story, and it connects to the Rose Gala. So Al Williams was a Crip in the '90s, right? He ended up, unfortunately, getting a gang-related murder, and he actually went to prison. He did 27 years in prison. And while I was doing the protest, blase, he actually wrote me a letter from prison. Didn't know this man. He said, I seen you on the news. He sent the letter to the Clinton School. And I wrote the letter. I wrote him back. Thank God. I wrote him back. And he wrote me back again. So we kind of communicating, you know, via letter. And he's just like, hey, man, you a celebrity in here, man. Like, we see you on the TV. We're like, yeah, man. Like, little bro out there doing his thing. And so one day we just happened to be downtown in Little Rock. And I'm waiting in line. And he like, hey, man, you look familiar. I looked at him. I said, man, you look familiar too. He said, your last name, is it Campbell? I'm like, yeah. He said, I'm Al Williams, man. I said, bro, you out? He said, yeah. I said, oh, Al, what's up, man? So he was actually pardoned by Asa Hutchinson, the same governor that I worked with, right? So pardoned off his murder, free man. And he actually built this program in prison. And basically PBS picked it up, did a documentary on it. It went worldwide. He was released. And I was able to meet his man. Thank God I wrote him back, because I would hate to see him on the street and I ain't write him back.
Yeah.
But I seen him, I wrote him back, and he spoke at my gala, and it almost gave me tears to say that he basically was just saying, like, I'm standing here right now in inspiration of what this man is doing. And even right now, it makes me emotional that somebody did 27 years in prison and they just happened to be released, and I was a part of the motivation and inspiration for to make that happen.
That's major.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Never met this man a day in my life. Now, every morning, we texting, we talking.
Love that.
I'm not doing nothing if Al not a part of it, man. So shout out to Al Williams and everything you're doing, bro.
That's dope, man. That's dope. We need more black men like Tim Campbell out here. That's serious, man. Putting back into the community and trying to bring us together. Everybody ain't doing that, man. You could be doing some buffoonery. You know, was on the path for buffoonery.
I was on the path.
But gathered it back together. Shout out to Omega Psi Phi.
And then the
friends
that took you from Church's Chicken
man,
to the dorm room.
And shout out to y'all, man. That basically like, nah, bring your ass down here and come and go to school, because I really was fine. Because sometimes we're comfortable.
Yeah.
And sometimes comfortable feels good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's all about getting uncomfortable, and that's what UAPB allowed me to do. So, yeah.
So we've covered, probably not even that we just covered a small portion of all you do, all you've done.
Good.
But let's get into kind of sort of your personal life. You're a new dad.
I'm a new dad. And
How is it being a new dad?
Man, it is amazing. Like, I remember when my fiance first said that she thought she was pregnant. And it's funny, y'all, because I was like, shit, I know you pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody would know, you're pregnant. She was like, I don't know if I'm pregnant. So we recorded, did this video, did the test, and it seemed like it was just yesterday. And we did the test. She was pregnant. She was screaming, and it was just amazing. And so, you know, especially in our community, the first thing we want to do for our kids is what we didn't get, what we didn't have, right?
Yeah.
And I want to find a balance with that as a man, right? Because I don't want to spoil the boy, you know, even though he already spoiled as can be, you know, but I
He's here with us. He's in the background.
Hey, he in the
Kelly, y'all
background.
baby duty right now.
Shout out to Kelly being a great stepdad right now.
The Godfather.
But yeah, so when I found out I was about to become a father, it meant so much to me because growing up, I had a weird father situation. Like, my biological was a crib. You know, I probably met him a couple times, and that was unfortunate, but I had a great father to step in and say, no, this is my boy. And he happened to live on Wolf Street, right? Protecting me from the wolves, the ghosts, and the boogeymen that roam the streets, and made me feel like somebody, right? And then when I played football, he never missed. Everybody on the football team, like, I know if nobody gonna be there, Tim Dad gonna be there, right? He's one of them dads, like, he drove buses. He'll be out there with his orange vest on at the practice, right? Never missed a practice from 6 years old to 12th grade. Never missed a game, never missed a practice. And so I strive to be that kind of father where I can look at TJ and say, I'll never miss anything important in your life. And that's a big goal for a black man to his son, right? Yeah. And I want to be there for him, and not just be there for him, but he needs to see me loving his mom too.
Amen.
He needs to see that's gonna be a big part of it, right? He needs to see love, and I like love, but I always tell my fiance I don't even think our relationship is strong and built on love.
What would you say it's built on?
Respect. And I think that love is a byproduct from the respect we have for each other. I think that respect creates the love, and it modifies it, and it amplifies it. But it's not the thing, right? It's a byproduct of the thing, which is respect. I respect you, you respect me. So there's certain shit that I'm not gonna do
out of respect
for you, right?
Yeah.
Now, I done did some shit to some people that I love, right? Because I didn't respect them. Mm-hmm. But I'll never do something to somebody that I respect, right?
Right.
In a negative way, because in the byproduct of that is the love, right? So that's just kind of how we run our show. And she's from Omaha, Nebraska. And shout out to Omaha. You know,
I almost made a joke.
They treat Omaha like they treat Little Rock. It's all good. But we met at UAPB.
Yeah.
And so he's a Golden Line baby. And so
that's amazing.
He just took his first trip to Howard, and he don't even know where he was at. But hopefully we can.
But it's embedded.
It's embedded in him, and that's my goal as a father, to make sure he sees me adequately loving his mother. And number two, to be there for every big moment he has in his life. So being a father is heavy, but it's also turned up. It's lit too, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like he's Junior, right? I'm Tim Campbell, and I always tell him, hey, bro, this ain't LeBron James.
Yeah.
I wasn't given this. I had to work for this shit. The name that I've built, I got it out the mud, right?
Yeah.
I painted it, made it go, and I stuck it on the wall. So you got big shoes to fill, right? And I want him to feel like he got big shoes to fill, because as men, we need challenges. We need goals. We need missions, right? So him being born into that is already a beautiful thing. Everybody say he looks just like me, and it's cool having somebody look just like you. You like, damn, I have a look that somebody else can come along and look just like that. It's crazy. So definitely becoming my best friend, and a lot of little things that he does now I don't understand, right? He's just 4 months old, right? But as we get to know each other, I'm sure it'll be an amazing journey. Yeah, for sure. So
before we get off into our icks, I just want to touch base on something you just said that I think our community be missing. Love is great.
Yeah.
Right? We gotta love each other.
Yeah.
Right? But the word that you said there, respect, look like a relationship just can't be built on love. Because like you said, I do people that I love bad too.
Hey, straight up.
If I don't respect you, I'm not gonna, do what needs to be done to keep this together.
For sure.
So I think the biggest thing out of what you just said is making sure you got more than just love. 'Cause love ain't enough.
Love ain't enough.
Love is not enough.
We say
you can
that all
love
the
people
time.
all day long.
Love ain't enough.
You can love people
What else
all
you
day
bringing to the
long,
table?
but we can't.
We
We
say
just
that all
toxic
the
together,
time.
baby.
We just
We toxic together, baby. I can't.
Love.
Love ain't enough. It has to be more.
And the idea of a relationship is essentially the same idea as a business. And I don't know a lot of business that's built on love.
Ain't.
Right? Because if I love you, I might be like, all right, I made $2,000, but I really made $1,500.
Yeah.
But I love you though. You know what I'm saying? But if I respect you, I ain't missing a dollar.
Absolutely
right? I'm gonna
not.
tell you everything I brought to the table. So definitely, just trying my best right now to build a sustainable home and build that foundation. Like
I'm getting chills.
man, like that piece is important because I'm like, if I don't get this shit right, y'all, nothing else I get right matters. I
Absolutely
can be Tim
not.
Campbell speaks. I can be in New York speaking. I can be in Cali speaking. But if I don't get this right,
part right, don't nothing
else matters. And it's a lot of men that got other parts right, but they didn't get this part right.
And they think there's all this matter. Okay, I've provided for you. I've done this. I've done
No,
this. Okay, but
sir.
what did you do for the people who right here in the home who see you every day, who deserves the best version of you?
Best version of you. Yep. Even when it hurts.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of times he want his bottle at 3 a.m. And shout out to my fiance because she's mostly there to give it to him, and I be knocked out sleep. All right? So
You gotta do better now.
I gotta do, and, I do my part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so our dynamic
As long as you
is
got
set
it
up.
worked out. The
Our
dynamic.
dynamic is set up where I'm doing the working right now, right? So that 3 o'clock, she's like, okay, I can do the 3 o'clock because I know he got to get up
Yeah.
at 6.
Yeah.
You right? So, man, when I get off at work, when I clock off, it's
Yeah.
it's
'Cause you
hand
done
to
been at
hand,
work
right?
all day
I've been
too with baby boy.
Right. It's
Yeah.
a full-time job. And, shout out to the stay-at-home moms because I think that people think that that's like a luxury. It's not.
Man, it's
I can't stay at home with him for 3 hours. I be calling him, hey, what I'm supposed
Where
to
y'all
do?
at? You said you were going to the store.
You said you was coming right back. So to be at home with him for 8 hours a day
Yeah.
is like crazy. And I just, big hats off to her because it's a full-time job. Emotional, mental, spiritual. And for her, she's breastfeeding. So it's just that biological too. So, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Icks.
You gotta explain to him. He probably don't know what ick is.
I don't know what ick is.
Okay, so here we do icks, and ick is just basically what it sounds like. It's like it just get under your skin, it bothers you. Like what's your ick?
What's my ick?
Yes.
Can I list them? I got a couple of them, or I got one.
Yeah, this your thing. Do what you want to do.
All right, cool. So one of my icks is and it's just a physical issue I've had since I was a kid. I do not like ashiness on me or nobody else.
Agreed.
When I say it makes my head hurt, I feel like a psych ward patient. If both of my feet are ashy and I lay down, oh my God, it's like I can't
Let
even.
it do that look.
Oh yeah, even that right there, even that right there, it hurt my spirit. Like I don't like ashiness. Two, another ick is, I'm a reader. I love to read, and I give books a lot of the credit for where I am today. I do not like people with very, very, very short attention spans. I just don't like it, right? Because I kind of feel like, the fuck do you think about all
It's
day?
giving childish.
Right, it's right. You grown,
It's
you
disgusting
grown
to
as
me.
hell, right?
I work with kids, so I'm used to that.
You used to that, yeah. But grown people,
folks.
that's
Grown
like
people, I'm kind of some of the grown people I work with.
they kind of like.
And it's disgusting to me.
I don't like it.
You don't
It's
think
just
about
like,
nothing
You
deeper?
don't think about nothing else. Like you just good. So when you went to sleep last night, you ain't think about shit. No.
Well, if I say,
Wow.
what you thinking about right now? Nothing.
Nothing.
What is you doing in there? What's going on in
You
there?
ain't no bills.
What they say on my deal,
What's
the
going
mall
on
is
in there?
open, but
Nobody's shopping.
That's a peeve. I would say another peeve for me is I don't like disorganization
I don't
at
like it
all.
either.
I hate it. Like I'm very organized. I'm a Virgo. I am a supreme Virgo. Like if my life is not feeling mentally like it's in some kind of organization, I'll lose my shit. Like, I got all kind of little notepads at the crib. I be jotting stuff down. I might not never look at it again, but it feels good to know that I at least wrote it down. Yeah.
And you can go somewhere and find it.
I can go somewhere and find it. So I'm an organized person. I don't like chaos at all. If it's chaos, if it's chaotic, do not call Tim because I am not coming. Right? Another peeve I have is I hate people that cheat in spades. Spades is one of my favorite games.
I don't know how to play spades.
Right? You know,
I hate cheaters.
I hate cheaters. I hate man. Look, when I'm playing,
is the worst person to play games. We ain't got no time.
I'm very competitive. And if you get to count your dominoes all damn slow, get off the table.
Get off the table.
If you get out here and reneging too much, I done taught her how to, you know how many times I done taught her how to play spades, and she gonna sit up here and keep telling these people,
I don't
play spades.
We going to a fish fry and we leave here, bro. She not getting on the table.
She not getting on the table. That's embarrassing.
And don't ask.
That's embarrassing. Why you embarrassed?
Why would she keep telling them damn people like I ain't taught her?
They already done took my black card
it's
anyway.
It's easy too, Consuelo. It ain't even a hard game. It's so easy.
It is easy.
It's just, I think what you scared of is
if it's easy, why you don't know how to play?
Because I only know the basics. Like, I don't know.
That's all you need.
No, because I be playing with people that actually know how to play and know.
They be yelling and stuff like that.
Move on, I'm getting the egg.
Anyway, you guys. So our We Ain't Got It Yet point for this episode would be circle around community service. Get involved. Everybody come together for the greater good. That is our We Ain't Got It Yet point for this. He's Tim Campbell speaks.com.
Yep.
So just
August he has another conversation around coming up soon.
Yep.
So just be sure to check him out. If you want him to speak at your baby shower, timspeaks.com.
Absolutely, reach out.
So here, the last thing we do.
Okay.
It's our weekly heat. It's just like some motivational piece that Kay come up with and give the people to carry throughout the week. Okay. But you cute, so you got rhythm, right?
Yeah, I got some rhythm.
Okay.
What's up? What we doing?
So I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and then we all say weekly heat.
Okay.
Weekly heat.
This is a competition because people seeing the previous guest and be like, "Oh, he went crazy. He got the best one."
Okay.
So you gotta compete.
So if you want yours to be the best, it's your
so
time to shine.
Am I rhyming?
No,
we just dancing.
1, 2, 3, and we weekly heat.
Okay.
But you gotta turn up now.
All right.
That's all you gotta do. We call them the spirit fingers.
Spirit fingers.
All right.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Weekly heat. Weekly heat. Hey! My boy hit him with the neck roll, toe him up. I don't know now. They might have
Crazy in the comments for that.
He might be up there with Coach Coop because they love Coach Coop Weekly Heat.
What you got for us this week?
All right, so he had 2 of them that he hit on, but I think this one aligns most because I really feel like this is who Tim is.
For sure.
Okay.
Leaders become great not because of their power, but their ability to empower. And your entire story has been, you're just a natural born leader, has been you serving others and then people looking to you because of the things that you have done to empower them. And I want to say, if ain't nobody else told you, you're a great black man, you're great for the community, you're a great leader.
Amen.
Great.
So happy that you care about the family unit.
Amen.
Because when it comes down to us being better, it got to start in the house. And it's got to start with some real leaders and not people point fingers, and people understand the dynamics of what black love gonna have to look like moving forward.
Amen.
So I'm really grateful to have you here, not only on the podcast, but as we gonna be cool.
Yeah.
We gonna be cool. Like your mama said we could.
I think we could.
Like your mama said we could.
This has been great. Y'all conversation was great. Questions were intentional. Right, it felt warm, it felt vibrant, it felt organic. So I appreciate both of y'all.
Thanks for coming. Y'all can get pen and paper for this. Go watch this one 2, 3 times because he was dropping gems in this one. But like we always tell y'all, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next week.
Cause I be tempted if I don't get it for my children's children, and that's real.
Tell the truth, how I feel, like I'm the only one that's real. Can't be the only one that feels like holding you real tight till midnight. Tell me how you miss free throws, that's 3 points on the field. You think about another nigga, wanna be unfair for you, you're confused.